Hi, welcome to another episode of the Musings of Modern Mystics. My name is Lorelei Hewitt.
And I'm John Davis.
And we are here with you today to talk about the weird energy we've been observing in society lately with our clients and in the news. And we're not in the political Donald Trump weird kind of way, but more about the weird in people that we've been observing and some of the challenges that seem to be kind of a thread in society right now. We've noticed an escalation in deaths of animals and people really losing it lately, really losing it.
The personality fragmentation sequence is getting hotter. People who have been doing just fine with their current personality structure, all of a sudden it's fraying at the ends, and people's general fear of going crazy is actually coming to pass because they are fragmenting in front of their families, they're fragmenting in front of their bosses, and they're trying desperately to keep it together. And we are noticing this. Lorelei mentioned that as the energy from the sun, which is a protective radiation that is added to by the protection that our Earth's geomagnetic poles also reinforce, that's being messed with by a kind of a cosmic influx that's happening. And what happens is the weaker among us, the people who have deep wounds that haven't been healed, people who have problems that they're dealing with that seem unsolvable, and they're really destroying the sort of inside portion of what they've built for themselves in terms of what they believe about themselves, what they believe about their families, what they believe about the world. All of that is sort of crashing as the bottom is falling out of that. And so we're here to talk about what is it that we can do as healers to be helpful, and what if you're in that situation where things are crashing down around you, what can you do to kind of stabilize? And I think that's it. And we're also talking about this now so that hopefully you can realize if you're feeling a lot more scattered than usual, it's not just you. Right.
There's a lot of us that are also feeling pulled and fragmented in many different ways. And I said to John, sometimes it's weird. I feel like I wake up and I look around at things and I don't know what happened during the night, but everything looks different. Everything looks a little changed. And when I reach for the people that I care about, when I say reach for them, I mean psychically, I think about them and I have a sense in my body. I feel them when I think about them. And say, like John, if I think about you, and usually I'll think about you and I'll think, oh, he's doing really well, he's happy, because I feel a sense of happiness and peace when I think about you. But if you're having a hard time with something, you missed a flight to Los Angeles and you're a little stressed, and I happen to think about you at that time, I would probably feel a little tension in my body, and I wouldn't know what it was about. I would just notice that my body is tense when I thought about John. So that would tell me that something is going on for him. And, knowing John, I would just probably disregard it because it's a temporary thing unless I kept checking in on him and kept feeling that.
Right.
So there are people that I've been checking in on that are feeling, they're struggling with a lot of things like illnesses and stress. They don't really know how to handle. And it's whether it is an astrological thing or a cosmological thing, in a way it doesn't matter. There's some pattern that humans are observing. Maybe there's stress related to environmental changes, too many cell phones being used. In a way it doesn't really matter. Just knowing that it's not all you, and that there is something that is a pattern that you're perhaps being affected by is sometimes it's helpful for me to know that. So what do you recommend to people?
Well, I always go back to my friend who died of cancer, and when I asked her, cancer has lots of deep roots in your personality and the way you've organized your life. And I said, and in this case, you actually have cancer. It's not like it's a breeding ground for some cancers. It's like you actually have it. And I said, so what, we need to change some things in your life. And she looked at me and said, I love my life exactly as it is. I don't want to change a thing. I just don't want to have cancer. That's not one of the options. So you have to find, what is it? What's something you can just change a little bit? It's, you know, that moment that the bull is charging at the bullfighter and who's waving a red flag, it's inches. Those horns can get you, but it's just inches. So if we just move it a little bit, if we change one thing about our personality, sometimes the comet misses us.
Yeah.
And maybe only by an inch or two. So
that's enough.
That's enough. So you have to look at, what is that one thing that you do every day? What is that one thing that you like to do every day? Pick one thing and don't do that.
Yeah.
And live through the 2 or 3 days of the withdrawal or the whatever it is. Oh, I want to, and just say, yeah, I have let go of something. I have lost something that I have always loved. But I am open to a kind of change. Because this thing is hitting things. This energy is hitting things, and it is breaking things down. But if you choose to open to the space, then it doesn't harm you as much. Yeah. And we want to get to the place where, you know, people are not like going out, you know, leaving their body and not coming back. We don't want to go to the place where people are fragmented so that they're running around naked in the streets riding white horses.
Or going to Waffle House, is that what and shooting people, right? Right,
going to the Waffle House and shooting people. And people who are like gone to the edge of their existence, they can't take it anymore. They want, like my friend, they want it to be the way they want it to be. And sometimes the way you rigidly want things to be is the thing that is actually the energy, the cosmic energy is hitting you, and it is going to break that wall down. And so if you open just a little bit, you move just slightly, if we use the metaphor, slightly to the left or the right, open it up, and it'll pass by you, and it won't destroy your whole personality. You can come back to whatever your vice is, or whatever it is that you have with your family, or whatever you have with your husband, wife, or boyfriend, or girlfriend. You can have all of those things again. It's like, but during this time, it's hitting the rigidity of that, and it is breaking down the whole system.
Yeah. And
duck,
or at least take an umbrella when you go outside, right? And, you know, it's sort of like people complaining, I'm getting wet. It's drizzling out. We live in the Seattle area, so it's a metaphor that we like to use. Yeah. And most of us just stop caring about being wet and decide that, you know, curly, frizzy hair, it's a look. So
and like a stopped clock, at some point it'll be in again.
In Seattle, it's always in, especially on rainy days. But there are a few things that you can do when you notice that you're especially stressed out, or the people around you are especially stressed out, and it's just kind of difficult to get a foothold on where you're at. And John is right. It could mean that you need to shift something, like brush your teeth with your left hand even, just to change up the neurological pathways in your brain just enough.
Doesn't need to be a big thing.
No.
But because what we're trying to do is open space, and then the second part of this is increase grounding.
Yes, that's what I was going to suggest. The weather's getting nicer out. Take your shoes off, stand outside in the grass if it's sunny out, like it is here for us today in Seattle. Get your vitamin D. Put your face up to the sun and just feel it for like 5 minutes. Breathe and feel yourself breathing the earth, breathing the sky. When you breathe in, breathe up, in through your feet. And when you breathe out, out through the sky, down back into the earth. Just keep breathing the earth and the sky, but allow yourself to actually touch the planet.
And a little mud on your toes, little oozy, gooey mud, might not be that bad during this time.
It can be wonderful. Yeah, it can be.
Because the sensuality of it, even if it's messy and dirty, the sensuality of it is enough to kind of create a sense of being connected to the ground. And I think that that's important. The other part that we've always talked about in these things is also that you want to up your digestible mineral content.
Yes,
And during this time. So
I'm noticing that people are doing a lot better when they increase their trace mineral content all the way around. It's been noticed by scientists that our produce doesn't have as many minerals in it as it used to because the soil's pretty depleted. We've been growing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of people and we're growing a lot of things. And we need to supplement what we used to get naturally out of the soil and out of the lettuce and the apples that we eat.
Not romaine lettuce.
No. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, romaine is, gosh. Anyway, it's always something. But if you can supplement those minerals, it really does help. Oh, wow. It's a huge difference. So I really do recommend that. And also eating food with prana, with life, right? What are some highly pranic foods? Foods that have a lot of light in them.
Well, I've been interested in the riced cauliflower, where you throw the cauliflower head after washing it into the blender and turn it into little shards of that, and add any other kind of vegetables to it and any kind of sauces to it. These things have a lot of life. Certainly broccoli, that level of things, the brassicas, have a lot of life. And then anything that's, I look at anything that's orange and red. That you want to have more of those things during a time like this, because it's first chakra, second chakra, grounding, a sense of body weight. So as you're sitting in your car and you inhale deeply, you inhale up and open up your eyes so that you're aware of everything, and you exhale down to your butt so that you feel grounded. Even though the car is moving, you feel grounded to the earth. So inhale up to your eyes, open your eyes, and be aware of everything. Exhale down, feeling your body weight, even though the car is moving. So these are things that you can do. Obviously, if you're at home, you can do it even easier. But I always like the exercise in the car because people tend to be driving in the car, and it grounds you so that the nervous system knows what grounding is. It begins to feel for your body weight when you're feeling like things are not going your way. Right. And during this time that, you can't fight this thing. You've got to flow with it. And being grounded is one of the ways to get yourself through this time and also open yourself up to new possibilities.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about the food too, and I want you to imagine when you're eating a fruit or vegetable that has been exposed and blessed with a lot of sunlight, that plant is actually collecting the light. So if you're able to eat raw fruits and vegetables, especially things that are not cooked, where the light has not been released, because make no mistake about it, that plant has collected that light. When you consume the plant in that matter, you're actually eating the light that the plant has accumulated over its lifetime, and your body uses that. And it can give you a sense of a lightness of being, and it can, I think it has a lot more nutritional value as well. So eating consciously, breathing consciously, putting your feet out in the mud and in the dirt, being grounded. one more thing that I do want to suggest
Okay.
is get out and have fun. Go out and be with people. Even if you're feeling kind of cranky, call a friend and have dinner. Invite them over to dinner. Being in community, we're finding now there's a lot of research that has pointed to the fact that people that live longer, healthier lives have a lot more friends. They have a rich social life where they're talking to people and they're communicating with people and they're getting together with people on a regular basis, and they know that there's a bunch of people that have their back. If something happens, they have a support structure that is going to be there for them. And that village of people, that community, needs to be intentional in this day and age. Most of us are not really enthusiastic about the religious community that we were raised in. Maybe the neighborhood that we live in is not an available community, so we need to intentionally reach out to those people that we have something in common with, that can see us and that we can see, and talk to them, have fun.
So we're looking at this period of fragmentation.
Yeah.
That where personalities are falling apart, and the way that people have built themselves is sometimes no longer viable with this onslaught of this energy. So don't be alone with it.
Yes.
It's not you. It's the energy is moving through that,
Yeah.
and you are feeling a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
You are feeling a little bit out of sorts. And we have mentioned ways, both at the level of meditation, at the level of breathing, at the level of
Nutrition.
opening yourself up to a new system, creating some space by changing a habit. And
Yes.
we're going to focus on this for the next couple of weeks while this is happening. But I want you to know that you're not alone, and that this is the same thing that Lorelei just said, was that you do need to find, if you don't have any friends, you need to find friends. If the friends that you have keep you in the space because they all know your personality and they support that, then you probably need a few new friends that you will, that when you create this open space that I was talking about, that then you will also be able to bring in new people who see you differently,
Yeah.
who see you as new, who don't have any expectations about who you are or what you are or why you react to this, that, or another thing that way. So that enables the whole thing. You grow during these periods of time. You don't shrink from the challenge.
Right. Yes. So here's to growing, just like all the weeds in my garden. And all the leaves on the trees. Here's to your growth.
Yes.
And your prosperity. And I think that's it. We'll be
All right.
here next Monday.
We'll be here next Monday.
All right. Have a great day. Bye.